Amazing song by Yeda B. We did have her on Friday right here, and the song is Rudy. I do hope you've enjoyed it once again. And right about now, it's time for us to look at the newspapers. Welcome back. My name is Beatrice Nudi.
And my name is George Kishoro, and straight to the day's newspaper.
Yes.
And they go with the headline, this is our plea. That is education. Students concerned about the severe impact the strike could have on their academic progress. And so they are saying this is our plea. And we have some boys and girls there. Tracy Waithera, Kesup Girls, Michael Okirin of Jan's Academy, Idal Patience, Moi Girls, Nairobi, Francis Gitau, Jan's Academy, Elizabeth Njeri, Moi Girls is senior, and Fabrigas Nyongesa, Chemilil Academy. So the teacher strike, KCSE candidates are urging the government to solve the pay dispute to avert the tutor strike as the event-packed third term begins today. This as the two main teachers' unions are split on the industrial action. The rift emerged last evening when NAT withdrew its notice just hours after Kupet had voted to endorse the boycott. And that is a story you can read on pages 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
And of course, the third term begins today, and schools are expected to open today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. However, even as they are opening, there is the issue of the teacher strike. And yesterday, of course, as has been reported, NAT, which is mostly the primary school teachers, they called off their strike. But on their counterparts, the KUPPET, Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, mostly dealing with secondary schools, they have said their strike is still on.
Wow.
And of course, we are hoping and we are praying because it's a very short term. On Tuesday, we had a meeting with our kids because they are opening school.
Family meeting.
Family meeting, which was very important, trying to chart the way forward for the term.
Yes.
We were just looking at it, and it's a very short, very short term, because I feel they will be doing 2 months only. Because by the 27th of October, actually, they should be closing because of the national exams, to pave way for the national exams. That's KEPSEA for grade 6, and also for Form 4. And so it's a very short term, 2 months probably, or less.
Wow.
So you see, if we have any interruptions with the strike, if we waste any day, forget a week, a day, it will ruin the lives of especially the candidates who are sitting for their national exams this term. And so our prayer and our plea to the government and also to the unions, reach an amicable solution. Go find a way, of solving and resolving the standoff, because as we keep saying, don't joke with the future of these children. They will never forgive us for that.
I'm telling you.
We ruin and we spoil their future. They will never forget. They will not forgive us.
It's true. And actually, the same story is what has been given prominence on the Standard, because I see here still the same story that whereas primary school teachers will be in class today, their secondary school colleagues have vowed to stay away. And this is coupled up with the risk of mpox also. Parents struggling with fees and administrators disgruntled with capitation. A return to school has been complicated. And the tough issues here that we are facing right now as a nation is first, teachers are adamant they are not going to class. Mpox threat is real as learners troops back to school. Parents are juggling between paying fees and paying also other bills. We have head teachers are up in arms over the capitation amount government that was disbursed last week. We also have being the shortest term, and with the national exams looming, there is no time to waste. This is a story that has also been covered on page 4 of the Standard.
All right, we pray for understanding in this situation. Still on the front page of the Nation, police in Haiti facing pay delays, relatives say. Families of Kenyan police officers deployed to Haiti have complained they are yet to be paid since they started the peacekeeping mission in the Caribbean nation. These revelations come 2 months after United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken ordered the release of $109 million, which is equivalent to 14.1 billion shillings, to finance the mission that was approved by the United Nations. The story you can read on page 2. I also see Ruto Gachagua and Mount Kenya's game of numbers. Deputy President says a contest is between loyalists and sellouts. It's a story that is extensively covered on page 7. DP imposes a December 31st deadline for regional leaders who are not listening to the ground. Eye on 2027. In a fast-changing political landscape, leaders scheme to outfox their opponents. I also see on the same page, Raila's plan to exit local politics triggers succession wars in ODM. And Raila declared that he plans to exit the local politics to take up a continental role, has now triggered a flurry of jostling and lobbying for succession in the ODM party. I read that on page number 7. And page 3 revealed a special unit used in Wanjege home raid and abductions. Rights groups say police officers must be left to carry out their work. They say the unit was formed following the Anti-Finance Bill 2024 protests whose magnitude caught the state unawares. So they are saying there is a special unit that has now been created, especially after the Anti-Finance Bill 2024 protest. And they are, according to these rights group, they are saying the special unit is being used to raid and also undertake abductions, right? It's on page 3. And as we peruse to other pages as well. I don't know if you have stumbled upon these on your social media platforms. Morara follows grandfather's footsteps in criticizing state. Younger Morara has been touring the country exposing wastage of public resources. So the Nairobi-based businessman turned activist has rattled state agents as he spotlights stalled government projects and wastage of public funds. Morara, who is 28, has been using satire, including imitating President Ruto's popular speeches about allocations for projects, to shine a spotlight on white elephant projects across the country. And yes, different ways of doing civic education in the country now. We go to the county news section. And I have seen my governor is here. So agonizing wait finally ends after landowners get titles. Relief as Kiambu County Governor issues 400 title deeds to buyers. 2,767 acres previously owned by a settler had a long-running dispute. And 28 years ago, they are giving a story there. And so it's relief for the 400 who got their title deeds. And you can read that on page 13, which is the county news. Ban use of politicians' names on projects, activists say. And now pressure is mounting on the Senate and the National Assembly to amend laws to bar politicians from putting their names and pictures on public projects set up using taxpayers' money. And of course, you have seen them. From ablution blocks bearing people's names. What is it? What else? Dormitories in schools, hospitals. But it's not their money. So why they are putting their names there. Anyway, business section. How strong shilling aided indebted NSC listed firms. Forex movements are posted on income statements impacting profitability. And I also see state owes oil dealers 3 billion shillings for fuel subsidy program. You can read that on this business section. Car and general profit falls 35% on high costs. KenGen assures on power prices. Kenyan traders to pay for China goods via Alipay, right? Then we go to the world news. Israel and Hezbollah exchange missiles amid escalation fears. DR Congo Army and M23 rebels clash near two towns. That is in the world news. We go to the pullout, the DN2 pullout this morning. This is the DN2 junior sport. Captain of volleyball champions, Scholastica Mwende, has led her school team to victory in various ball game tournaments up to the national level. There is a picture there of Scholastica, and you can read the story on page number 2 as well. There is a high schooler school pictorial as well. And to, of course, being the third term, they are having also past exam papers.
Yes.
And so today, naona hapa wako na biology paper 2. Yeah.
Biology also had 2 papers.
Yeah, imagine, yeah.
For real? Oh my.
Kwa sababu kulikuwa na theory na practical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Hata nilikuwa nimesahau because
Yeah.
how is titration helping me now?
It's been a minute. Hey, the table below shows the concentration of oxygen downstream. Anyway, yeah, so you can grab that for your child as well. We go to the back page of the Nation.
Yes.
Egyptian giants up next for Gor police. Gor Mahia's coach rallies his troops for big assessment against the Red Devils in Cairo. So Kogalo face Syria winners Al Ahly in first round of CAF Champions League in September, while Kenya Police play Zamalek in CAF Confederation Cup. And so the Kenyan clubs, Gor Mahia and Kenya Police, face tough Egyptian opposition in the first round of top African club football competition as they fight to qualify for the money-minting group stage of the tournament. I also see Bullets face Tanzania's Simba Queens in Women's Champions League qualifiers. Harambee Stars to host 2025 AFCON qualifiers in Uganda. Kenya to play matches at Mandela International Stadium in Kampala as no local stadium meets FIFA or CAF standards. That's on page 31. And Golden Harvest for Kenyan students. The country's teams will win all rugby 15s and 7s titles and boys hockey crown. You read that on page number 30. Teams arrive for championship. That is United States of America, India, Nigeria, and Turkey have arrived in the country for Mombasa Open International Tong Il Modu Championship, which starts on Saturday. That's what's being reported in the Daily Nation.
All right. And coming to the Standard is, of course, the very top story, which was on crisis in schools, which we did cover. And actually on the same, Amboko Milembo, who is the Kuppet chairman, is saying TSC has not listened to teachers' plight, and we now declare officially from midnight today. And that was, I'm thinking, last night. Not last night, but the night before yesterday. Yes, that should have been Saturday night that it was declared that they will not be going back to school, and that is for the secondary schools. And we wait to see. My sister is actually supposed to resume, although ironically she has been praying and not for the teachers to go back to school. So it's really sad.
We understand them. My niece yesterday, she was being told, go to the salon. She was saying, we are waiting for what? So they are still waiting, watching and waiting.
They are still waiting, and they want a bit of an extension for their holiday for sure, because who doesn't want to rest a little bit more? But anyway, we continue to see how everything plays out. But still on the top page, I see my vision for Africa, Raila Reddy's bid, and that is a story on page 9. And still on the top page, I see here a story, debt misery for Ruto as credit rating drops again. So this is even complicating the whole debt repayment, because it says government faces higher borrowing cost after a third global rating agency downgraded Kenya's credit rating. This complicates planning and also debt repayment. And that's a story on page 7. And coming to page 2, I see families battle diarrhea, malaria in Budalangi. Displaced camps. Busia is the leading county in malaria burden, and at 39% against a 5.8% national tally, according to Kenya Malaria Indicator Survey of 2020. Data shows that at least 300 cases of malaria are reported monthly. Very, very sad. This is a story on page 2. Indeed, the people that are residing in this particular area, Busia, need to take extra caution. And page 3 is a very interesting story that I think the mothers and even the dads in the building, and also those who are watching us this wonderful morning will be very much interested. And this is talking about blood spots on babies' girls' diapers. And this is something that is not very common, but then it actually does happen. And there's a lady who actually thought that it is the husband who probably defiled the child, and the marriage almost ended like that. But actually, it is said that it is very, very normal, and this is because of estrogen that passes from the mother to the baby through the placenta during the gestation period. And sometimes that, large amount of estrogen is what may cause a bit of spotting, and you may notice even in the diapers of that baby girl, and even wondering, was she defiled and stuff like that. There's, I see a lady here saying, I froze. My mind was racing. I was going crazy because in my mind, I was 100% sure she was defiled. And the person she looked at was actually the husband. So I think this is information that needs to be out there. People need to be aware. And it also goes ahead to talk about even baby boys. Actually, they are not supposed to be placed in warm water for a longer period of time, because that actually also affects their reproductive health. So these are very, very important things. But what is even sad is this lady is saying, she's saying, because in my mind I was 100% sure she was defiled, and in my house it's just my husband and I did not have any nanny. But now the question that she's asking, how is it that she was not told this vital information during clinic visits and also after delivery? Because if this is something that could be a possibility, and a certain percentage of girls actually experience this very thing, and the doctors say that it's normal, ni kawaida, this is information that needs to be told to the mothers. Because I'm imagining myself as a mom, what would be running in my mind if I saw something like that. But it's important to really, really ask all the important questions. But I hope that this information has been helpful, because I know probably this is something that many probably have experienced but not really known how to deal with it. And it says this thing can break homes. A mother can think her partner has touched the baby. That is why I always inform expectant mothers about what to expect during and after delivery, she says. And this is midwife Nerea Ojanga, who has really talked about it in detail. So it's important to make sure that you're asking such questions. And for the nurses, doctors, those who are part of the antenatal care, they really need to pass on this information so that it's not an issue. The mom seeing something like that could really scare them. Could be a scary ordeal. And page 4, I see here is actually the story on the uncertainty over KCSE exams as teachers make good strike threat. Akelo Missouri adding the organ has decided that teachers will withhold labor and ensure that no learning takes place in their jurisdiction. I think I did not take milk. Okay. Pose, manze, Joe. Anyway, page 5 is state in talks with universities to lower school fees, a story that we've been following up for quite some time now. Chief Justice Martha Koome has termed new university education funding model discriminatory. I also see NAK Kenya leader Martha Karua termed the model as unconstitutional and open to manipulation. Look at that story on page 5. I see bachelor's degree, for instance, in law at Mount Kenya University will cost 170,000 shillings per annum, and that is a sample of the current university fees that is showing the cost of dental surgery. Also, degree is about 612,000 shillings at Moi University. So definitely those amounts are scaling and scaling. But you can look at that story that is on page 5. And page 6 is, of course, Ruto's inner circle men calling the shots in his administration. The question has been, who is advising our president? But anyway, I see Gen Z's protest prompted the president to reach out to political rivals. Ruto is working to regain public's trust, especially as the 2027 election looms. I mean, we should not even be talking about re-election. It doesn't even need to be in the mind. It just needs to be, what can I do so that by the time I leave, I will leave a better country, because already we are in ruins. But I see the number of lives lost during the demonstrations, according to the Kenya Human Rights Commission, is actually 60. Can you imagine? 60 people have been lost. We have 66 people remain missing. 66. This is not even a joke. 66 people are missing. They remain missing even until now. And we have 415 individuals who were badly injured. So there's just, this is just too much. 66 people missing. This is a big number. You don't even know if they're alive or what is even happening, and why until now we still don't. I don't have answers. So it's definitely mind-boggling in itself. And page 8 is leaving the enigma moniker. Raila's undisputed dominance. I see, despite losing in 5 presidential elections, Raila has kept reinventing himself. His actions depict a man who continues to confound friends and also foes. This is a story on page 8. And moving on to the pullout today, the very top story here is wary of growing antibiotic resistance, which is really interesting here. I see when antibiotics are used excessively or inappropriately in veterinary medicine, such as for non-therapeutic purposes like growth promotion, bacteria can develop resistance. And I see antibiotic resistance, a silent pandemic killing millions worldwide. A story well detailed on page 4. And I saw something interesting here on page 3 about mpox, what you need to know about this emerging health concern. And it's important to note that mpox is caused by the monkeypox virus and is a double-stranded DNA virus belonging to the orthopox virus genus, which includes variola and cowpox. And actually the virus was first isolated in laboratory monkeys in 1958 and later in a 9-month-old infant in the DRC in 1970. And the symptoms of mpox typically manifest within a week of exposure, and though they can appear 1 to 21 days later, lasting 2 to 4 weeks or longer, particularly in maybe immunocompromised individuals. And the common symptoms can include rash, fever, a sore throat, headache, muscle aches, back pain, lower energy, and swollen lymph nodes. And the rash begins as a flat sore and progresses to a fluid-filled blister that can be itchy or painful. I believe that this is important information, and you can look at this story on page 3. And coming to the back page, I see super sub Trossard proves his worth again. The Belgian came off the bench to inspire Arsenal to a 2-0 win over Villa. EPL champions Manchester City also trounced newcomers Ipswich 4-1. And on page 31, clinical KCB retained Kabeberi 7th title. A story on page 31. Kenyan teams reign supreme in Mbale. That's on page 30, and that's it for the Standard.
Right. Quickly, the Business Daily. KQ, 6 states help over 1.5 billion shillings blocked in Ethiopia. Funds frozen in Addis banks on forex restrictions. CEO Kilavuka says talks are underway to ease blockade. I also see Auditor General flags 1.3 billion shillings paid to City Hall workers. More than 1.3 billion shillings set for payment of workers by Nairobi County cannot be traced to the salary account, the Auditor General has revealed. Access Bank raising capital ahead of September NBK acquisition. That is KCB Group targeting completing the sale of National Bank to Access Bank by 30th September amid an increase in minimum capital requirements for banks in Nigeria. Then, why Safaricom fears Elon Musk's Starlink? Safaricom has warned that awarding licenses to satellite internet providers like Starlink could allow illegal connections and harmful interference with mobile networks. You can read that as well inside the Business Daily. And company dissolutions rise on KRA clampdown. So business owners are increasingly dissolving companies amid increased scrutiny from the Kenya Revenue Authority and strict regulatory demands, official data shows. Data from the Business Registration Services indicates some 56 firms were dissolved last month, 56. And notices have been issued for dissolution of a further 118 by the end of October this year. So you can read that story. It's covered inside the Business Daily.
All right. We have come to the end of our newspaper review. I do hope you are now informed about what is happening. It's important for us to ask ourselves then, how do we need to pray for this nation? And I think the big thing right now is definitely schools being reopened, especially the secondary schools at such a time as this. And I think it's important even for those who, if this doesn't go the way we hope it would go, keep your child busy even while at home. Make sure they're revising. Make sure they're not just celebrating, yay, we're not going back to school. And then they go back and now it's a struggle. So keep them revising, keep them busy as well, even in the house. But right about now, we're going to just usher in the video of the day. When we come back, we will be talking about it. What an amazing song.
Beautiful
And,
song.
I was just looking into what even this is about, the Imani Milele children. And I see here from their description that not many people know about Uganda's 3 million plus orphans and vulnerable children. And this is a Christian and profit organization that serves our Lord Jesus Christ, meeting the needs of these kids in poor communities by equipping them with skills to help them develop into self-sufficient adults who can contribute back to the society. And what we see there is just a fraction of this huge number of vulnerable kids and orphans who are literally praising the Lord even in the middle of their predicament, saying, I love you, Lord, more than anything.
Imagine, nothing is stopping them from proclaiming their love to their Maker. And so the question is, what is stopping you from doing the same? For them, orphaned, so many challenges, so many upheavals, but that has not deterred them from proclaiming the goodness of the Lord. Professing that love of their Maker.
Yes.
You can do the same as well.
It's true. And you see the kids worshiping.
It's genuine.
Genuine.
There's that genuinity.
Genuine. You can see it. You can feel it.
Yes, you can feel it. You can see it. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And they're there with their tattered clothes and they are worshiping in the middle of it all.
Their circumstances is not
Oh.
stopping them from praising and worshiping their Maker.
It is indeed amazing. Indeed, the Lord has put his praise in the mouth of babies.
Amen.
That is what the Bible tells us, that God can put worship and praise even in the hearts of children. That is so amazing, because instead of them going to steal, going to do the wrong things, they're submitted to God. So definitely their future is bright. I mean, I'm sure a big, huge number will come out one day in the next 10, 20 years, and we will be shocked at the testimonies we will receive.
Amen.
But right about now, it is time for us to usher in today's conversation, and just to let us know what we'll be discussing today, this wonderful morning. It's interesting because, it's one thing to have knowledge and wisdom about finances, but it's another to ask ourselves, okay, where do we get these jobs from? That's why today's topic is technology and job creation on financial fitness, because before we tell you how to manage your finances and money,
you must have this money.
You must have
create
this money. It has to be created. It has to be attracted, as other people say. You don't go chasing money, it just finds you attract it. However, if you are going for it or you attract it, today we're going to have Kangethe John, who is the founder at Sensei Institute of Technology, and we'll be talking about technology and job creation. I think I'm really expectant to receive the wisdom from this wonderful man, and just listening to how can we not box ourselves in this place of I need to be employed. Lazima niende university nimalize na hivi ndio iko, because that is what society has taught us for so long. But how can we take advantage of technology? How can we create these jobs even for ourselves as the youth without expecting the white collar ones? So this is a conversation that we're going to be having, and I know that we are going to be educated, informed, and also entertained at the same time. So you at home, if you're a youth and right about now you're like wondering, okay, what next? I just graduated, or I don't even know if I'll make it to university. Can you do something even as you are in the waiting? So this is what we are going to be discussing today.
See you in a short while.